Hello, everyone. This is Johnnie Taylor, City Manager for the City of Lexington, North Carolina, and we're welcoming you today to the next Queuing It Up episode. Today, I have two special guests with me, and I'm going to begin to give you some information about them, and then we're going to have a good dialogue as we are approaching the 40th anniversary of the Barbecue Festival here in Lexington. First person I'd like to introduce to you is Miss Stephanie K. Saintsing Nassett. She grew up in Lexington, North Carolina, and she earned her degree in economics from East Carolina University and has proudly served as the director of the Lexington Barbecue Festival since 2002. In addition to her festival leadership, she is the director of the North Carolina Association of Festivals and Events and co-owns SIL, an irrigation and landscaping company that she manages with her family in Lexington. As a dedicated community advocate, Stephanie has contributed to various organizations and currently serves as the Dean's Advisory Council for the Nito R. Cobain School of Communication at High Point University. Balancing her professional pursuits with her family life, she is married to Scott and is the proud parent to Red. In her free time, Stephanie enjoys traveling, playing golf, and spending time with family and friends. Welcome, Stephanie.
Thank you so much.
Also, I have the pleasure of introducing Mr. Lee Jessup, who grew up in Hickory, North Carolina, and has lived in Lexington since 1980. He served as senior pastor of the First Reformed United Church of Christ in Lexington from 1980 to 1993, and was vice president of development for United Church Homes and Services from 1993 to 2001. He became president of the United Way of Davidson County in 2001, retiring in 2015. He has been a volunteer for the Lexington Barbecue Festival for more than 20 years, serving first as state host coordinator, and for the past couple of decades as the MC of the festival's opening ceremony. Mr. Jessup has been married to his wife, Mary Jo, for 54 years. They have 2 children and 4 grandchildren. Stephanie and Lee, welcome to the Queuing It Up podcast.
Thank you, Johnny. I'm looking forward to being here.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to get right into it. Before we get into the details of the festival, let's talk about everyone's favorite topic, food. What does your perfect barbecue plate look like?
I'll let Lee go first.
You want me to go first? I can answer this because I have it at least once a week, usually at different places around Lexington. I like chopped barbecue. I like it coming to the plate, hot, chopped up. I like a little what we call dip on it, and the dip in every restaurant is going to be a little bit different to add flavor. And I like the red slaw, and I just love the hush puppies. So I try to have a plate of that every so often, not quite every week, but that's my perfect plate. Chopped barbecue, coleslaw, red coleslaw, and hush puppies.
Okay.
Well, I'm pretty basic. I just love a nice chopped sandwich. That's my favorite.
Awful good.
Yeah, can't beat it.
All of it's good.
Yeah, it is.
So tell us a brief history of the festival and how it grew to the scale that it's at today.
That's a great question. You know, the festival started back in 1984, and the first year they had around 30,000 people that attended, so it was a success, you know, right away, and maybe unexpectedly. And so from that point forward, it just sort of propelled itself. Once we rolled into the 20th anniversary, we knew that it was just on a trajectory that honestly we were just so proud of. And here we are, 40 years. So it's a great milestone to be celebrating.
It's outstanding. You know, people come to the festival and they see kind of the finished product. But logistically, what are some fun facts about the actual planning of the barbecue festival that maybe our listeners just may not be aware of?
Sure. So really we plan a year in advance. And for an anniversary year, especially of this magnitude, we'll plan further out than that. But the reality is it takes hundreds of volunteers, certainly many, many sponsors, the city staff. It's just been an incredible part of this teamwork and essential part of this teamwork to make it happen. But it is a year-round process.
So if I'm a vendor and I'd like to be a part of the actual festival, what is the selection process like? What are the things that I need to do in order to be a part of the festival?
Well, certainly we have a lot of repeat vendors over the years. Some have been coming for more than 20, 30 years, and so we certainly welcome them back every year. But we also look and entertain opportunities for new vendors, and so those applications go on our website typically in February. And arts and crafts, we mainly focus on the arts and crafts piece of that, and so folks can check out our website and learn more about the application process after the first of the year.
That's great. As we've already mentioned, this is year 40. What does it feel like to hear that? To hear that this is 40 years of barbecue festival here in Lexington. What does that mean to you?
Well, it makes me proud that we've gotten this far, but certainly we've done it as a team. You know, so many people play a huge role in the success of the festival. And so I think more than anything, it's just pride. And I'm sure Lee can add to that.
Yeah. I'm going to take you back just for a minute, all the way back to 1984.
Okay.
Sure.
Because if I look out this window, Johnny, where we are, I can see a church steeple right over to the right. And I was the minister of that church when the festival started. And I got, I got so excited at that first festival, and I think I came every year. And, one day I was out walking around the festival. I said to myself, I kind of wish, maybe that they would come to me and say, we've got a job for you. We've got something for you to do. And after a while, they did. And I became one of the many hundreds and maybe even thousands of volunteers that live in this area and work with the barbecue festival in a wide variety of ways. We've got people at the train station. We've got people all over town, helping with transportation and parking and all of those issues. And then we've got musical stages, and that's what I've been involved with for the last number of years. First of all, our United Way provided stage hosts. And then I got to go up on stage and, act the fool and be crazy and talk to people and say, like we do at the opening ceremony, I always start by looking at the sound engineer and saying, are you ready? Let me back it up a little bit, because here's the way I do it. I always start by saying the same words, like Robin Williams on the Vietnam movie. Good morning, Lexington, and welcome to the 40th anniversary of the Barbecue Festival of Lexington, North Carolina. And I've done that, I guess, 21 times. And I'm about getting too old to do it, but I'm going to do it this year because it's the 40th, and I'm looking forward to it. But my tradition goes back about 20 years.
That's awesome.
Johnny, Lee's a rock star.
Nah.
You are, and he has so many incredible stories and memories to share about the festival and all the artists he's met, and he's just been so instrumental, really, truly. So thank you, Lee.
And it's been a pleasure. It literally has been a genuine honor, and I'm going to embarrass her a little bit because she wasn't the first person I talked to about it. You know who it was? It was her mother. And they came into my office, and they talked about, all these stages that they have. I mean, they had famous musicians from literally all over the country coming in, and we tried to provide a host for that. But it was Kay Saint Sing who originally said to me, we want you to be involved. And, if we mention Kay, we've also got to mention another guy named Joe Sink, who we're honoring on the Wall of Fame this year. And Joe was the publisher of the Dispatch. And he was a huge part of the original vision that he and Kay kind of got together and turned this thing into the world renowned. I've been across the seas and talked to people about the barbecue festival, But Joe and Kay, helped me and worked with me. And Joe told me once or twice what I was doing wrong. But other than that, we had a great relationship. And he was so funny. And it's just been a pleasure to be a part of this thing for 20 years.
Well, that's great to hear.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm coming to the festival for the first time, and I'm going to create a list of what we need to know coming to this festival, where is the festival and where are some parking options for the festival goers?
So, great questions, and I would say arrive early. That would be my first recommendation because it does get really crowded midday. Parking, we'll have 2 shuttle options, one from Children's Vineyards, one from Walmart. And other than that, there will be parking around the perimeter of the festival. Lots of Boy Scout troops and churches and organizations raising important dollars for their organizations. And so we're really happy about that. So, but parking is limited. Lexington grows exponentially on Festival Day. And so we, thus the need for the shuttle service. But I would encourage people to come early. I would encourage people to come to the opening ceremony at 9 a.m. so they can see Lee live in action.
It's a lot of fun.
The ceremony to me sets the tone for the day. National anthem, Pledge of Allegiance, some really great opportunities to be thankful for what is to come for that day and what we've accomplished thus far. So I think it's a special moment. And then, of course, this year, after the opening ceremony, will be the Wall of Fame induction, which Lee mentioned that Joe Sink and my mom, Kay Sainton, will be inducted on the Barbecue Wall of Fame. They weren't barbecue chefs, but they sure were instrumental in creating this event. So,
no doubt. One of the coolest things for me, Johnny, historically, about this festival, if you look at that iconic, beautiful old courthouse in our square, on courthouse days, years ago, and I'm talking 100 years ago, they would have people come into town in wagons from all over the county, really all over this part of the region. And a couple of fellas got the great idea, if we dug a ditch right down there on that block over there and maybe put it in some grading and brought in some wood, we could cook over some grates. And we could make something out of a pork dish that we could come up with. We could chop it, we could slice it, and that was the very beginning of the Lexington barbecue tradition, was cooking at the old courthouse. And every time, it'll bring a tear to my eye when I'm looking out at the opening ceremony, and I look at that beautiful courthouse and realize that we've been doing this for 100 years, and this is really a huge part of our identity and a part of our tradition. And it all began right here where we're having the festival. And if you look down from the courthouse, you see a building that is part of Barbecue Alley, and that's where we have the Wall of Fame. And we recognize the chefs, the creators, the people who kept this tradition going for decades and decades, and it's still growing strong today.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. So, would you say there are some hidden gems in the midst of this festival activity?
Well, we got pigs that race. We got all kinds of stuff. The coolest thing that I kind of freed up a little bit a couple of years ago. I did stay at the stage all day, almost before sunup and after the sun went down, but Stephanie cut me a break, and we have some other help on the main stage now. So Mary Jo and I, we get to walk around and see everything. We're going to car shows right across Main Street. We're going to watch pigs race. We see lumberjacks. We see all kinds of vendors. And I don't want to get this wrong. I don't want to say this wrong. We've got classy vendors. We've got people who really do make their own crafts and bring them to Lexington for sale. And it's a big deal. Sometimes you see vendors that you're not really sure that if it's made around here somewhere, but all of ours is North Carolina produced, and we've really got artists up and down the street. So I would just advise people to get out and walk up and down Main Street, and whenever you see something or hear something really interesting, you need to stop and go check it out.
I mean, certainly the sand sculpture is so popular, sponsored by Lexington Utilities, and certainly one of the highlights of the festival. People love that. The dog show, the car shows, like we have a Corvette show and an antique car cruise in. So car enthusiasts are very happy when they, especially when the weather's good. You know,
Yes.
that dictates if they actually show up or bring their cars out. But just so many things to see and do and enjoy, and family friendly. We have a bicycle stunt shows.
That's great.
Inflatables for the children, a children's stage. We have 6 stages of entertainment. So, and all of that is free to enjoy. And I think that's what's so special about this festival. Is there's no admission charge, and that is thanks to all of our incredible sponsors.
I've had people say to me, Johnny, you know, you've got to start naming these acts, not just country, but rock and roll, blues, famous regional bands in this area. They said, how much does it cost to get in, or do you have to pay by the stage? I said, no, you just come and eat a little barbecue with us, and everything's free.
It's incredible.
That's great.
Yeah.
Do we have anything new this year coming into the festival?
I'm glad you asked. we do have a few new things. One that I'm excited to talk about is we're having a parade. Now it's a walking parade, so I want to invite people to join us for that. We'll start at 8:30 down at the children's area, which is near the Methodist Church on Main Street, down on 4th. I guess that's 4th. Between 3rd and 4th Avenue on Main. But we're going to have a lot of characters and a lot of fun. If you want to dress up and be pig themed, we'd certainly encourage that. But it's going to be a great way to start the morning. And then we'll march up to the square for the opening ceremony. So that's going to be new.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably my favorite new thing this year.
All right. So where should listeners follow the Barbecue Festival online to get updates and to learn more information before their visit?
Well, the website is full of information. The current brochure is online. If you go to thebarbecuefestival.com, you can see the entire schedule of events. And you can learn about the train stops, special Amtrak train stops. They stop once a year in Lexington until the depot's done. But until then, we've been doing that about 23 years, and we have some incredible volunteers, William and Judy Dill, who lead the hospitality for us with that. But 8 trains will stop this year in Lexington, and we're really proud of that relationship with NC DOT Rail Division and all their partners.
They do a great thing, too. They list every stage where there's going to be musical entertainment, and they have the schedule, you know, from 9 o'clock, sometimes 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, all the way through lunchtime and through the afternoon. All of the artists are listed, and it's a great way. Get on that webpage, and you'll find a lot of great information.
Yeah. Oh, another thing I do want to mention is the grand finale concert this year.
Okay.
That's new. Well, it's new in the regard that we are having fireworks this year that we're very excited about.
That's cool.
Benny Keith is sponsoring those, and it's sure to be a wonderful way to cap off a spectacular 40th celebration. So join us for that. It's wonderful. The festival ends at 5:30, but we will continue on from 6 to 9 at the amphitheater for the concert and fireworks show.
Yeah, and you talk about bands and performers, and I've kind of heard, I don't know whether this is an urban or myth or legend or not, but I've heard we've had some folks that come through here in the past that might be kind of hard to get to today.
Okay, I got a story for you. I want to tell you.
Okay.
I've been looking forward to telling you this story.
All right.
Because it is, for the most part, really true. Okay, you ready? So 18 years ago, I had to check the age of this person to make sure I was right about that. 18 years ago, I'm at the grandstand stage, backstage, and I see that there are a couple of people that are going to be coming on and playing. And I notice this one name that I don't really recognize. You know, I wasn't into the top 40 like my kids are now, but I knew all the old bands and all the people that were ancient like me. But there was this young woman that was supposed to sing. And so I was just, you know, kind of waiting around looking, and finally I saw this young woman coming toward me. She had on a chocolate brown dress, and I could tell there was an escort with her that was sort of looking like she was checking everybody out, and it turned out to be her mother. And the mother came to me first before I had a chance to see this young girl. And she said, "This is my daughter, and she's going to be singing at the festival today." I said, "Man, that is wonderful. But before we got a little bit of time before she goes on, would you like a barbecue sandwich?" And I looked at the mother and I looked at the young woman. The young woman said, "You bet I would. I'm hungry." I said, "Well, honey, come on." And we sat at a little 6-foot table back behind the stage. Had a couple of our friends there. I think Mary Jo was there, my wife. And so I'm here to tell you, Johnny, that I had an opportunity to eat a barbecue sandwich that was really good, and she ate hers, and it was really good. And I said, "By the way, I'm kind of forgetting, and I apologize for that, but what is your name?" And she said, "My name is Taylor Swift." I'm not kidding.
So you may have started it off. You might have been one of the original Swifties.
Well, I'm not sure I can claim any part of her musical ability, but I hear she still likes barbecue, so maybe that was what we did. We gave her that anyway. But it was a great experience, and she truly was a great entertainer. She sang the Tim McGraw song. That was a hit for her. And I think she went on to do pretty well. I hadn't heard much from her lately, but
Yeah, I hear her name called every now and then.
Occasionally.
Yeah.
No, that was certainly one of the highlights as we look back, but some incredible entertainers over the years. Darius Rucker comes to mind as just being one of my favorites. Jason Aldean has been here, Trish Yearwood. I mean, just a long list of phenomenal entertainers, and really proud of that, and that connection with Q104. And Chris Lane is coming to the festival this year, so we're really, really pumped up about his performance at 4:45 at the amphitheater. And he's a Kernersville native, so this will be somewhat of a hometown show for him, which is nice.
We kind of have a track record of attracting artists who maybe have a hit or two, but for some reason, once they come and play at the barbecue festival and they get the exposure, at least at the grandstand stage and down the street at the amphitheater, of playing in front of thousands of people, some of them go on and win Grammys and win Album of the Year and other things that have happened to them over the course of their career. And I really do honestly think that a lot of it is because of the kind of experience they had at the Lexington Barbecue Festival.
Yeah, so they certainly get an opportunity to perform in front of a large crowd. What have some of our numbers looked like over the years?
Well, Joe Sink was our great estimator.
Yes, he was.
That was always fun to hear what he thought was the number. But it's really difficult to tell with the crowds. We know that it's a big day in our community, and lots of people fill the streets, and some people come for the morning, some people hang out in the afternoon, and some people are here all day. And so there's some turnover there, but thousands of people certainly converge on our community, and we love to see them. We love to see them in our community. We love to see them shopping in uptown Lexington stores, filling up our hotels, and spending money in our community. It's really important.
I think one of the cool things is I've actually heard from a number of people over the years who have come to the barbecue festival and made the statement, "I'm going to come back when there's not 150,000 people in town, but I'm going to come back because I like your city." That means a lot to us.
Yeah, I think the exposure is a good point. The exposure that even if they don't do all the shopping they want to do that day with the merchants, we hope that they'll return and have a wonderful experience.
And we could, Stephanie and I have talked about this many times. We could not do this. We could not pull this off without the City of Lexington employees, without Davidson County Sheriff's Department, without the Lexington City Police Department, without all of the folks who are part of our governmental partners. We couldn't do this without all of those wonderful people who contribute to the success of the festival.
Yeah, I mean, we get together in our city meetings. I mean, it's a team of pros, let's put it that way.
It really is.
The best of the best, and couldn't be more proud to work with them.
Yeah.
I want to thank both of you for being here today and launching off the inaugural podcast for the Barbecue Festival. And I'm just excited about next weekend. I know that it's going to be a fun opportunity for us to get together and enjoy some good barbecue, some good fellowship, and just continue to see Lexington progress. So thank y'all again.
It is our pleasure. I know Stephanie feels the same way. You know, you've been great personally. I thank you for what you do for the city of Lexington, but I also thank you for helping to promote this event, which 40 years ago literally put us on the map.
True. And I'd like to thank you, Johnny, for the invitation today, and I thank every mayor, every city manager that has been a part of this process along the way, because you don't get to 40 years without that level of support. And 40 years of sponsorship from Truist, from the City of Lexington, from Pepsi, from day one. And the barbecue restaurants, I really want to give them a shout out, because without them, obviously they are the stars of the show, and
absolutely,
we certainly want to recognize their contributions to making the festival a success.
Absolutely.
So it's an incredible journey. I'm happy to be here 40 years. And I did work the festival. I've worked every festival, so I'm giving away my age at the moment. But it's been just a real joy to see it grow over the years. And personally, it means a lot to me. But what I love most is what it does for the city.
Yes, indeed.
Outstanding.
And one of the cool things we've talked about, even though we've got 100,000 plus people downtown, you can go to every single barbecue restaurant all over this part of Lexington and the parts that reach into Davidson County. They're all full on Barbecue Festival Day. People can't get enough of it.
That's true. And then that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
We're happy about that. We want restaurants to be busy, merchants to be busy.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. We just love to see the people here in our community enjoying themselves. And I also want to give a shout out to Edgar. They've come on board and been a wonderful co-sponsor for us, and
absolutely,
we're very grateful for their support. So.
Okay, well, thank y'all again. For updates on future episodes, follow us on social media at City of Lexington. If you've learned something new and got some value from this podcast, give us a like, comment, review, or subscribe to us on the platform you're listening to this episode on. We'll see you on the next episode of Queuing It Up.